When you're choosing material for your drawer fronts, it's not a bad idea to select a piece that has wood grain that you like the look of. For instance, this piece, to me, looks a little nicer than this piece. It's got something about it. It hasn't got too many imperfections. It's a nice balance between dark and light. And the other thing to remember is that visually you want to have the weight of the pattern of the wood at the bottom. So this dark area will be at the bottom of the drawer front, the light area at the top. If you put it around the other way, you can see that there is a difference and it doesn't look quite right. If you look at products, you'll find that the visual weight, if there is such a phrase, is always at the bottom. So the panels on a door, you'll have the bulk of the woodwork on the bottom of the door, and the panels on the top of the door will make the structure look lighter on top than it does at the bottom. That type of thing. So this is what we're going to do here. I'll start as always by planing my face edge, and because I want most of the grain to be dark on my drawer and I'm going to be making this piece thinner, I'll make this my face edge, and after that I'll plane my face sides. I've got my face edge nice and square to what's going to be my face side, so I'll put my face edge mark on there, and then I'll plane this down once I've got it sawn to length so that I've got my face side ready. And we'll saw it so that I'm just getting rid of this piece, and then we'll measure off the two drawer lengths. Using my face edge, rather conveniently, those two nail marks are just in line with that knot, so we'll get rid of both at the same time. Having taken some measurements off my drawer cavity, I've worked out that the drawer width needs to be 129. 129 is slightly oversized, and we'll plane the drawer to fit once we've made it. Twice 129 is 258. I'm going to make the piece of wood I'm going to cut off 268, so that I've got a little bit of room to play with. There's my 268 point. And now we can plane our face side to go with our face edge, and then after that we can measure up the width it's got to be. Well, that's got me a surface. Let's just check it's flat. Not quite. Good. That should have done it. Let's just check. Great. I've got to determine a width. If I leave the wood this thickness, I'm going to have very little volume left in the drawer. So although it's going to take a bit of effort, I'm going to take this thickness down to 10 millimeters. 5 millimeters shouldn't take too long. Spot on. Put a bit more cut on the plane so I don't take too long getting through the thickness. It's 33 degrees out today, so any help I can give myself in the way of reducing friction reducing the energy that I have to put into this, the better. See how I go. Now, I don't know whether I'm being a wimp, but I think it's about time I sharpen my plane. So if you'll forgive me, I'll just nip down to the workshop and touch up that plane edge. I've sharpened my plane and I've got my main angle and my micro bevel re-established. It's beautifully sharp, and hopefully I'll survive getting this cut. Oh, it's better. Oh, that was worth it. Often you can hear how tools performing as well as feel it. If you listen to the noise that plane's making, it's very different to what was going on before. Really good. So now we can start cutting these to length for our drawer front, and also cutting to height as well. Despite liking the look of this, it's a bit patchy, and I'm going to stick with this as my face side, but this face edge I'm going to change to down here because I want to measure my 65 from the bottom, so I get most of this dark grey and just a little bit of white on top. 65 is going to be the height of my drawers, and the face edge is going to be this edge here, so I'll plane that on next. I've just checked and this is dead square, so because it's also dead straight, I can call that my face edge, and we'll just put a new mark on here, face side, face edge, and we'll measure 65 from that face edge. Important that the drawers are slightly oversized. We don't want to be undersized. So I think what I'm going to do actually is to make it 65.5. I'd rather have them a little bit too wide than too shallow. What I'm aiming for is no gap anywhere around the drawer. It's a bit of an ask. I think I'll probably get egg on my face by the time I finish, but we'll try. 65.5. There we are. Good. Great, so now we're going to cut our drawer fronts off, and then we can set about making the rest of the drawer. Because of our careful cutting, we've got a nice square end on there that we can measure from, and the measurement, I have to remind myself, the measurement I'm going for is 129. Super accurate work because we want this to be spot on. So a sharp pencil, auto on 129, great. And what we'll do is to put a marking knife line all the way around as we normally do, and then we're going to put one a saw width away, and we're going to saw clean down the middle of those two lines. Now our saw cut is pretty much a millimetre. Going to make a judgment about that. Err on the side of it being a little on the wide side. Good. And now very carefully I'm going to saw in between those lines. Nice careful cut. Good. And now I can measure this one to 129 as well. Notice that I got a nice clean unbroken edge around there because of the marking knife line. Take your time to get it right. And now we've got two slightly oversized drawer fronts, and the grain matches across the two surfaces, which is what we want. Now we can get on deciding on what wood we're going to use for the rest of the drawer.